All right. Well, we're gonna play some Splitgate, and we're going to give me 1 second here. Sorry, it's mad at me about my bit, right? It's mad. Let's see. It should be working. It's not. So, whatever. Okay, let's start some Splitgate up here. Let's get our video ready. Down a little bit. All right. All right, so we're gonna be watching the YouTuber who made the worst comic of all time. I believe this is about Linkara. And if you don't know who Linkara is, I'm sure this video will explain it very well. This is from the Gamer from Mars. So yeah, we're gonna play a little Splitgate and watch this video. Hang out a little bit.
Like Nostalgia Critic and AV. Most people remember names like Nostalgia Critic and AVGN when discussing the most iconic online reviewers of the late 2000s and early 2010s. But a name often forgotten in this discussion is Linkara. This lover of Power Rangers and comic books was once a prominent name on YouTube, having gone so far as to create a feature-length film based on his show Atop the Fourth Wall.
He did
but
do
possibly
that.
more notable than this content was when he was mocked on sites such as 4chan and Kiwi Farms for being a lolcow, due to his own comic that critics have put on the same tier as Sonichu, along with finding his old adult lewd account where he looked at smut material relating to the Muppets and the green M&M lady. And who could forget his rage when fans simply asked when—
So I feel like we're already off to a good start on the on kind of painting a picture of who this guy is. So
the next Power Rangers review would be out on his channel.
The videos are done when they're done and will be released when they're done.
Despite a plethora of material to cover, with him even being goofed on by the creator of the popular show Smiling Friends, surprisingly no YouTuber has made an in-depth video explaining the lore around this odd individual. Because of this, I decided it would be a good time to
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that's true. Like, let's here. There's one from a year ago that has, you know, a fair amount of views. I guess he's kind of right. Yeah, I mean, okay, I stand corrected. Yeah.
cover the forgotten tale of this relic of
All right,
a
what do we want to
bygone
do
internet
here?
era. Louis Lovehog was born on August 19th,
See what we got.
1987.
I've been focusing on this class mainly. On
childhood, other than he
hold
grew
on.
up.
Time for Team Deathmatch.
It seems like he lived a fairly
5,
ordinary life,
4,
like many young
3,
men who lose
2,
very
1.
Oh
Round
shit, that's
1.
loud. Okay, hold on, I gotta turn that
Bring home the victory.
fucking game volume down.
Get
for
the
me and the
most
stream.
kills and bring home the win.
Kickoff.
We just pulled ahead. Don't stop now.
Good shit. I don't know if anybody else has
New power
been paying
weapon
attention
in
to
the
what's been going
arena.
on with this game, but it was a rough launch. So hopefully that's a little better.
But he didn't just want to experience other people's work. he wanted to create his own. In high school, Lewis began publishing a series of fantasy novels titled Angel Armor. These stories followed a Christian high schooler named Lewis, who battles the forces of darkness under the name Linkara. Now, from that description, you may have noticed a few similarities between the author and his fictional protagonist, albeit Angel Armor's Lewis spells his name differently. This sort of self-insert style of storytelling is something that would only become more prominent in Lovehog's work as time went on. Lewis concluded the Angel Armor series after the fourth novel in 2006, but this was far from the end of his artistic pursuits, and after graduating high school, he quickly began the project that ultimately became much more well-known, his ongoing superhero comic, The Lightbringer. The story follows Carter Granholm, a man living in Faro City. This was a town in Minnesota, a lawless hellscape run by gangs known as the Slavers. Even though Carter was born with the power to manipulate light, the lessons of pacifism taught to him by his parents, who were murdered when he was a child, prevent him from using his abilities.
Oh my god, you got me.
He eventually realizes he must stand up and fight, taking on the identity of the Lightbringer. This comic gives us our first real look at Lewis as a person rather than just what can be gleaned from reading his work. You see, underneath nearly every page of The Lightbringer was a brief snippet of commentary written by the author, giving insight into his creative process. For example, Carter Granholm is the owner of a furniture store, inspired by Lovehog's real occupation at the time. Even though the main character's name had changed, the similarities of his job, home state, and physical appearance.
So yeah, that's like a direct comparison to the Sonichu comic, where like Chris always brings in his own life and just changes them slightly to fit.
And made it clear that art would continue to imitate life. The first thing most of you probably noticed about the Lightbringer is the art style. Countless people have chimed in with their opinions on it over the years, so I think it would be best to allow Lewis's own words to describe it. This was my first comic I ever drew. My artistic talents are so clearly laid out. They're utter craptitude. Interestingly, even though he handled most of the responsibilities, Lewis is not the only credited artist on the series. The names Ted Sage and Fran Goulard also appear in the credits of multiple issues. Trying to research them, I found it interesting that neither of these men seem to have any online presence. That is, until we stumbled upon the Lightbringer FAQ page, where we discovered they were both just pseudonyms used by Lovehog. Lightbringer was a one-man operation for a majority of its run, although actual collaborators were brought in toward the end. For one person, self-publishing their own comic book is undeniably a difficult task. The limitations of such a production are plain to see, not just in the art, but also in the multiple grammatical and spelling errors found within. For example, one of the earliest antagonists of the series is a slaver by the name of Serpent, spelled with an A rather than the second E. This could have been explained away as a deliberate choice made by the character, but Lewis admitted that it was purely because he didn't know how to spell the word. The more amateurish aspect
That's awesome. At least he admitted
might
that.
not have been quite so noticeable if it hadn't been for the incredibly dark subject matter. Within the first issue, Carter is shown
Fucked up.
running away in fear when he witnesses a woman being possibly
Oh, no.
sexually assaulted in an alleyway. Help! Someone help me! Shut your bleeping mouth. Please, I need help! I ran as quickly as I could after I saw it. I was almost hyperventilating as I tried to push the screams for help from my mind. As previously mentioned, the Slavers, aka the main villains of the first story arc who essentially control the city,
There we
are
go.
explicitly stated to be human traffickers. At the beginning, they're so confident that they won't be prosecuted for their crimes.
Bro, honestly though, like I don't understand this because I mean, like Chris is autistic, so you know, I guess we can say that makes sense, but like, oh shit, why would you, if your art looks like this, you really not have the whereabouts to fucking not release it, to maybe hire somebody else to do the art, like just anything other than fucking release whatever this is?
that they walk around in public with women chained up on leashes. Lewis gave his reasoning for this decision in the commentary. The majority of comic books don't cover the subject matter of human slavery, whether it's in the form of cheap labor, forced prostitution, or religious oppression, or other forms of tyranny that involve treating people as possessions or forcing people to adhere to something they don't believe in. Yes, Mr. Lovehog was young and out to prove himself as a writer, daring to tackle subjects that mainstream superhero stories wouldn't touch. A lot of his own philosophy is weaved into the pages of the Lightbringer. For instance, Carter Gramholm was raised by his parents to be a pacifist, and much of his early character development revolved around overcoming his hang-ups and using his powers to fight for what's right. The face in the mirror has no comfort to offer me. All I see is the man who could have done something but did nothing. Is this the face of a coward? The true face that I try to hide behind a face of detached angst? Mom, Dad, I'm sorry, but you were wrong. Completely and utterly wrong. One cannot stop evil with pacifism. Evil doesn't feed on violence, it feeds on indifference. In addition, the comic's first story arc revolved around bringing down the slavers. Since the gang practically owns the city, their leader argues that bringing them down will destroy the local economy and that what he does is a necessary evil. Unsurprisingly, Lovehog disagreed with this philosophy as well. You're insane. You call what you're doing a good thing? Of course I don't. That's because good and evil are meaningless when it comes to real life. I had an epiphany when I started the Slavers. Human beings have always existed in one of two states, master or slave. Whether it comes to their emotions, their job, their devotion to others, it doesn't matter. As such, the true moral purpose of the Slavers is to use that relationship to make the world better. The Slavers aren't your enemy, Lightbringer. We're doing exactly the same thing you're trying to do. Pharaoh City doesn't survive.
This dialogue only works in like superhero movies, right? Like you have to have a huge budget with great actors to deliver this kind of dialogue with amazing music overlaying it, or else it just comes off as like, yeah, like Redditor angst and just like pathetic. Like it's just sad. I don't know I don't know who would even write good dialogue like that, but you're not him.
In spite of us. It survives because of us. We're the good guys, not you and your subjective little ethics about the big bad guys who like their women chained. When it came to the adult themes found in the Lightbringer, that expanded to sexual concepts as well. Early on in the comic, Lewis stated a desire to highlight strong female characters. However, the actual contents of the story don't always reflect this. For example, one issue involves the wife of one of Carter's employees being blackmailed by a man into sex because she hid his car. This affair concludes after Lightbringer explains to her that the contract could not possibly be legally binding, something she apparently needed to be spelled out by a man. This thing we're doing, it's ending right here, right now. Do I need to remind you we signed a contract? Your body to do with any way I please.
I love this. Like, look at the fucking. Oh, you can't see my mouse. That's unfortunate. If I click on it, can you see it? Yeah. You see that? Like, who's fucking. Like, what the fuck is this? You just drew an L as a face. This one's at least got a little bit of a. Like, this is just straight an L. It does not look good.
Sue you for the damage to my car. Yeah, funny thing about that. According to contract law, coercion and blackmail make them null and void. Then I'll tell your husband about our midnight escapades.
Why is this in a comic?
He already knows. Hate to break it to you, stud, but your performance didn't exactly rock my world. The series also includes cameos from other webcomics, including a character from the NSFW title called Treading Ground. But by far the most concerning of Lightbringer's more risque elements came in the form of Hannah Mentz, a young woman with super strength who works at Carter's furniture store and eventually discovers his secret identity. For the majority of the comic's run, she acted as a voice in Lightbringer's ear, staying behind and talking to him over the phone while he went on missions. It wasn't until issue 13 out of 15 that she finally put on a costume and went out fighting crime, despite the fact that she had superpowers from the moment she first appeared. If Lewis wanted to highlight strong female characters, This seemed like an odd way of going about it. Even stranger, Hannah was established to be 17 years old when she was first introduced. While showcasing a piece of fan art of the character, though, Lovehog made an eyebrow-raising remark in the commentary. This pic features Hannah in much hotness. Of course, this forces me then to accelerate my plan of making her 18 because otherwise I'm kind of a perv for thinking like...
What? Why would you publicly announce, like, you don't need to say this. This could be private thoughts. That's still really kind of obviously are weird, but like, you don't need to say this.
That about a 17-year-old. And if you think it's weirder that I think this way about a fictional character, obviously somebody hasn't read up on any And if you think it's weirder that I think this way about a fictional character, obviously somebody hasn't read up on any philosophical writings about whether or not fictional characters are real or not. I personally think they are just as real as you and me. Discuss. Anyway, if Hannah wasn't going out fighting crime alongside Lightbringer, what exactly was her role in the comic? Well, her first major story arc involved her purchasing a breast enlargement machine online. Again, I have to reiterate that at this
Gotta get
point
used to
in
this
the
class.
lore, she is still underage and was stated to be so multiple times. There's some discussion about whether or not she should go through with using it, but thankfully the minor doesn't get the chance, since the device is stolen by a villain called the Smiling Man, due to containing energy that allows
I'm
him
dead.
to perform some sort of poorly
Is this a
explained
bot?
comic
That
book
has to be a
science.
bot.
As a side
That
note,
was not a
this
bot.
evil
How did he
plan also
not?
leads to Lightbringer
Okay.
tauntingly referring to the Smiling Man as the smiling transsexual. One other aspect of the Lightbringer worth touching on is the fact that it frequently made reference to other superheroes. Lewis made no secret about the fact that he had been inspired by other sources. Not only were Lightbringer's powers similar to those of DC's Green Lantern, but Carter's backstory was a clear homage to Batman. Some have called these ripoffs, but given the sheer amount of overt references to
Fucking with
other
this gun.
properties made within the pages of Lightbringer, it seems more likely the parallels were being made intentionally. A major aspect of Lightbringer's character is that he is a comic book fan, adding more fuel to the idea that he is just a self-insert for Lewis. There are multiple scenes of him discussing the philosophies of various superheroes, including one in which he basically just reviews the iconic series Watchmen. It seemed like even this early in his online career, Lewis was already finding his calling. While The Lightbringer ended in September of 2012 after 15 issues, Lovehog had already moved on to his next big project several years earlier. As it turns out, back towards the beginning of his comic series, he had become the fan of sites such as The Agony Booth and Djibouti, which had become well known for their movie reviews in which they recapped the plot of films using text while intermittently cracking their own critiques and jokes. Lewis decided to do the same for comic books, and he posted a review for Youngblood #1 in his blog on February 19th, 2007. His writing style was pretty much fully formed from the very beginning.
No, you're
as
not
he provided
dead!
A full recap of the comic story while intermixing it with his own criticisms and witty remarks. It's here we can see many of Lewis's preferences laid out plainly for the first time, namely his distaste for overly violent superheroes who are willing to kill their enemies, and his objections to women being drawn overly sexual. Lewis continued posting these text reviews for the rest of the year, averaging roughly one per month. Production didn't truly ramp up until 2008 though, when he officially coined the name Atop the Fourth Wall for this series. It would still take a few months for his online career to truly begin to take shape. You see, in addition to the blogs that had inspired his online writings, Lewis's time on the internet also drew him to the website That Guy with the Glasses, later known as Channel Awesome, where he became a fan of its creator, Doug Walker. Among the many shows hosted on this site was Ask That Guy with the Glasses, a series in which Walker, playing an exaggerated character, answers questions from his audience. At the end of one of these episodes, Doug turned the tables and asked a series of his own questions which viewers were tasked to answer in their own video responses. The best of these would be featured on the site. Among the many entrants of the competition was none other than Lewis Lovehog.
Oh, Joe Lontrue. Hello and welcome to Ask That Guy with the Hat.
Not only was this Lewis's first video project, but it also was the first time being featured on That Guy with the Glasses, and it appeared to ignite a fire within him. Later that same month, on October 30th, 2008, he uploaded the first episode of Atop the Fourth Wall. This was a review of Spider-Man number 56, part of the character's infamous Clone Saga storyline, which he had already been covering within the text recaps.
Happy Halloween, everyone! I decided that for this recap, the only way to do it justice was by video. Plus, I wanted to experiment around with a different format than just the text recaps. As such, let's dig into Adjectiveless Spider-Man number 56, part 3 of Smoke and Mirrors.
The format of these videos were essentially identical to what was already being published on his blog. They were also very similar to what Doug Walker had been doing as the Nostalgia Critic. Lewis simply sat in front of the camera detailing the plot of the story he was covering from beginning to end while occasionally tossing in his own jokes and criticism. At first, these videos were simply his own personal projects that he uploaded to his website. But everything changed later in 2008 when That Guy with the Glasses announced that they were looking for new talent. Lewis submitted his videos to the site's manager, Mike Michaud, who agreed to give him a trial period. Well, the general consensus seems to be that Michaud did this because he was impressed with Lovelock's talent. There are some detractors who claim he was only given the chance because That Guy with the Glasses needed someone to review comic books instead of just the movies and video games to add variety. Regardless, after these early episodes went live on the sites, they received a positive enough reception for Lewis to be brought on as a full-time contributor. Of course, he would need a new name. Every Channel Awesome reviewer did have a pseudonym that they went by, and Lewis knew there was only one suitable option. Going back to the very beginning, he pulled a moniker from the Angel Armor novels he wrote as a teenager. Thus began the reign of Linkara. Most of what was featured in the Atop the Fourth Wall video series was what his audience had already come to expect from reading his blog. However, there were certain things he would criticize in the comics he read that may have been confusing to those who had been following Lewis's content since Lightbringer. Despite some of the overt sexual content featured in his own work, he seemed to get incredibly angry when it showed up in other books.
Perhaps it'd be best if you didn't encourage a society preoccupied with sex by making a character naked for the simple purpose of having TNA in the comic. You're not being ironic, you're being stupid. You know, it's clear the creators would have been more than happy just having naked women here doing this, so if they wanted to make a porno comic, why the hell didn't they just make a freaking porno comic?
For reference, the comic he is reviewing in that second clip is titled Cinema, a series which proudly flaunts its goal of titillating the reader. So Linkara is getting angry at a comic book that is advertised as being sexually explicit for the crime of being sexually explicit. You might recall that, within the pages of The Lightbringer, Lewis interjected occasional comic book reviews into the ongoing narrative. Well, and now that he was a show primarily focused on comic book reviews, he decided to start interjecting an occasional ongoing narrative into this new creative outlet. This started small at first, as he revealed details about his character such as his magic gun.
You have to explain it!
Explain it? It's magic. I don't have to explain it.
Modern day viewers may not even remember an
I don't know if anybody else watched this type of content like back in the day, like where this just cringy, awful. I don't know. I didn't. Maybe it was a little bit before my time on YouTube, but man, I don't understand how people watch that shit. I don't.
Modern day viewers may not even remember an era when online media critics all had their own unique weapons and partook in storylines in which they had to do battle against whatever it was they were reviewing that week. I assure you it was a very common trope, and Linkara was at the forefront of it. That said, he still tended to take his show's internal lore far more seriously than his contemporaries. This clip I'll now show from a later crossover he did with the Nostalgia Critic explains it quite well.
I don't do skits in my show.
Sure you do. They're at the end of your videos all the time. You fight robots with Power Rangers crap.
Dude, those aren't skits. That actually happens to me.
What?
I am regularly attacked by mad scientists, my own doppelgangers, and monster gods from other dimensions. I live in fear that my next review will be my last because forces far more evil and far more powerful than I am have a personal grudge against me.
He even incorporated other Channel Awesome contributors into his plots.
Just can't do it.
For example, one of the first major reoccurring antagonists of Atop the Fourth Wall was Dr. Insano, a character who originated from the videos of Noah Antweiler, aka Spoonie.
Dr. Insano. I should have known you'd be the one behind this. Becoming President of the United States could never be enough for you.
Of course! And now, using the most powerful robot ever constructed, I will crush your pathetic armies and rule the world!
Eventually, Dr. Insano was joined by a different but mostly identical character played by Lewis himself named Dr. Link Sano. The vast majority of Atop the Fourth Wall's characters were portrayed by Lovehog wearing different costumes, and many of them take heavy inspiration from other sources. His robot companion, Poyo, bears a striking resemblance to Tom Servo from Mystery Science Theater 3000, a show which Lewis has made no secret about his love for. While this isn't necessarily a bad thing, it does play into the criticism some have had of his work that it is highly derivative, dating all the way back to the days of the Lightbringer. In his episode reviewing the comic Secret Defenders number 10, Lovehog debuted the new theme song for Atop the Fourth Wall, written and performed by musician Vincent E.L. A version of this song is still used as the intro of his show to this very day, although the lyrics have been changed so to no longer call out specific comic book creators by name. As time went on, Lewis expanded his repertoire of shows beyond just the Atop the Fourth Wall. Outside of comics, he also had a deep appreciation for the Power Rangers franchise, inspiring him to create History of the Power Rangers. In this series, he broke down the plots of each era of the show, dissecting the characters and exploring their arcs across the seasons.
Damn! That was...
But there were some who maybe enjoyed it a little too much. During a particularly long gap between uploads, viewers began inundating Lovehog with comments asking when the next installment would be. This was obviously very frustrating to him, as he began the next episode with a rant that now lives in infamy.
I attended Power Morphicon, FallCon, did a very complicated ending to an episode of Atop the Fourth Wall, released additional videos in October beyond my regular workload, did my regular workload, which consists of an episode of Atop the Fourth Wall every week despite conventions and other difficulties, one of those difficulties being moving into an apartment.
This tirade, which was later edited out of the publicly available video on Linkara's channel, has since been dubbed the Power Rangers rant by those who enjoy poking fun at the comic book reviewer. The fact that he dedicated nearly 4 straight minutes of his video going off on people who were simply trying to engage with his content was a hilarious concept to many onlookers. In fact, it inspired Rocco from the channel Mega64 to create his own parody series dubbed History of Voltage Vengers, in which every video consisted of him angrily ranting about why there had not been any new videos while never actually reviewing the show.
Let me say this once again. History of Voltage Vengers has no set schedule. The videos will be done when they're done.
This was the first time in which Linkara had caught the attention of people beyond his core fanbase on Channel Awesome. While he didn't respond publicly to the jokes being made at his expense, the fact that he made the Power Rangers rant in the first place told people all they needed to know. Clearly, Lewis was someone who took himself and his work very seriously, and eventually even more events would take place to corroborate this assumption. On May 16th, 2013, Lewis posted a video entitled, "Special, please let the ads play," to his YouTube channel.
Lately, many people have been using ad blockers that prevent them from seeing the advertisements in Blip videos, including my own. Furthermore, those of you who use ad blockers may have seen this message pop up, making you wait 90 seconds for our content to begin. And furthermore, several people are upset about this.
Now, Linkara was hardly alone in this sentiment expressed here. This was an era in which many online content creators were asking their audience to turn off that pesky ad block. But it was still a very contentious topic, and the like to dislike ratio on this upload is plain to see. On top of this, asking people to turn off ad block simply doesn't work. The upload did nothing to help Lovehog's standing with those who were already predisposed to dislike him, and the mockery would only continue to get worse. In June of 2014, someone on 4chan's Comics and Cartoons board posted a caricature of Linkara to mock him for his perceived smug attitude. In response, an anonymous user who claimed to have worked for Channel Awesome in the past told a story about a couple experiences he had with the comic book reviewer. At a con talking with fellow employee about girl I liked at time who also happened to be an employee. Lewis comes up and hovers. He does this a lot. He'll stand by a conversation but not engage. After a while, he finally chimes in. Lewis, you know you shouldn't objectify women like that. Me, I'm not. Lewis, then why are you talking about her? Me, because she's employed and I don't know our policy for that. Lewis, well, perhaps we'd need a tighter policy for those of us who would try to objectify our staff openly. Me, Lewis, chill. Friend, Lewis, for fuck's sake. Lewis, I'm just saying, maybe we shouldn't make the woman feel uncomfortable. Maybe we should be a little more enlightened about this. Okay, one more story. For context, they were filming for a Channel Awesome movie at the time. Lewis is doing lines for the hotel scene. Everyone wants to go to bed. Brad, another contributor, keeps joking that we should slip out the door and go chill at the hotel bar as the camera isn't even on us at the time, and we've done our scenes. Head to the door. Lewis. Stop. Brad. What? Lewis. Do you realize we're on a set here? Brad. Yup. Brad leaves. Standing there about to head to the door as well, Lewis goes apeshit. Lewis. It's unprofessional to just leave another actor to do his scene alone. You're being unbelievably rude. Me. Sorry, dude, but my scenes are done and I'm tired. I'm going to go downstairs. Lewis. Very well, but I warn you not to tip the scales too much. Head down to the bar, chilling with people down there for a while. Doug comes down. Doug, look, I'm only coming down because Lewis wants me to. Well, I don't really know. I guess just talk to you. Brad. Oh, for fuck's sake. Doug. Yeah, look. Just stay for his scenes, and if he asks, I yelled at both of you. Okay? Me. Yup. Walking back to the room. Lewis is standing outside our door.
Bro.
Lewis. So, did you learn your lesson?
Bro.
I start cracking up and have to leave. Hear Brad just ripping into him before leaving. Still hear Lewis outside door muttering, uncivilized, pathetic. He's butthurt for the next 3 days. In fairness, it's hard to confirm the story since we still don't know who exactly posted it, but it fell in line
Yeah,
with most
I believe it.
view of Linkara. On top of this, not a single person has ever come out to deny it happening. When a fan inquired about the situation on Twitter, Lewis stated himself, "Not a clue. It's certainly possible I was just in a weird mood and acting weird, but I cannot recall it specifically. I can infer from this tweet that if he doesn't remember if this happened, it means he did things like this so often that he forgot this particular instance." Regardless of its veracity, the story still spread across the internet and turned Linkara into a meme yet again. Speaking of Linkara memes, on July 15th, 2014, the Nostalgia Critic's review of Blood Rain was posted to Channel Awesome. What needs to be understood is that this particular movie came from the infamous German filmmaker Uwe Boll. Whenever a Boll movie was discussed on the Critic show, it was considered tradition for him to be joined by Linkara and Spoonie. Thus, the video began with a skit of the reviewers dramatically rushing to the Nostalgia Critic's aid. Even if you've never seen this video before, you've probably seen the clip of Lewis running at super speed directly at the camera with a determined expression on his face. Let's face it, even if you have no idea who he is, you've probably seen it. It's taken on a life of its own as a GIF that pops up frequently on social media.
What the? No. Shut the fuck.
This is one of the few memes about him that
God damn,
Linkara
dude. I
actually
can't believe this is the
seems to be
debate.
okay with. although he admits it used to bother him quite a bit. Up to this point, the jokes made at the expense of Lewis Lovehog have been relatively light jabs, but these all pale in comparison to the information that would soon come to light. First though, a little history is required. Back in 2010, a new character named Iron Liz began appearing on Atop the Fourth Wall, played by Lewis's friend Elizabeth Schochill. She quickly became a core member of the show's cast, even filling in for Linkara when he was kidnapped by the intergalactic supervillain Lord Vice. She also ran her own blog known as The Foundry, where she reviewed tabletop RPGs. Outside the show, the two dated for a brief period of time before splitting in 2011. Liz mostly stepped away from the limelight after this, choosing instead to focus on college. But she made it clear that there was no ill will between her and Lewis at the time. Skipping forward to 2014, Liz did a live stream interview with an ex-Channel Awesome contributor named Lordcat. Unfortunately, the video has since been deleted, and there doesn't seem to be any archive of it. But the most relevant information that's been retained is that she revealed herself to be a transgender woman. Linkara detractors had a field day with this news. Some of them had long suspected it to be true, but now that Liz had confirmed it, they used it as a free pass to call Lewis gay. For his part, the comic critic allegedly stated, "Liz has always been a woman. The fact that she had a man's body doesn't matter. I am straight." I have to clarify though that the only place I've seen this quote written is on the troll-created website Encyclopedia Dramatica, with no citation as to where it came from, so take it with a grain of salt. I also want to make it clear before going any further that I'm not here to judge the man's sexual preferences, and his dating life is nobody's business but his own. However, the people who delighted in bullying the online critic over this did not agree with the sentiment, and soon another bombshell would drop that they would view as further confirmation of their belief that he was, in fact, a homosexual. In early 2015, users of 4chan's TV board were searching for an old Linkara video that one of their users vaguely remembered from years past. While they didn't find what they were looking for, they ended up discovering something shocking: Lewis's supposed decade-old accounts on porn forums. It wasn't hard to figure out it was him.
Again, maybe before my time, why the fuck are you creating accounts on porn forums? You can't just watch porn and not, you need to discuss this with somebody. Like, it's weird.
Not only had he listed his real name, but in his bio, he described himself as
Weird.
author and artist of the Lightbringer comic. He also included an ad for the book as his signature on one of the sites. As soon as this was discovered, 4chan users immediately set to work researching what Lewis had been cranking his lovehog to. The following are samples of titles from works he had favorited on the site Literotica. Geriatric alpha male seduces father of two. A black man has an interesting experience. He/she seduces husband, then wife. He controls his sister, mother, neighbor, and a stranger. Veterans find a cute butt boy to reenact good times. And how could we possibly leave out lots of girls with cocks? There are two very strong running themes while looking through the screenshots salvaged from these accounts. One, Lewis's love of being dominated, and two, his interest in women with male genitalia. Even so, there are still multiple instances on these forums of Linkara proclaiming that he is not gay. In fact, despite the fact that he declared himself to be in favor of gay marriage, he still expressed his belief that homosexuality was a choice. Some would argue that, if that was indeed the case, it was a choice Lewis himself made, since there was also examples of him writing homoerotic fiction. Now, these are just the things that were properly archived at the time. But if you choose to believe the rumors, they are just the tip of the iceberg. It's been claimed by other people that some of the other topics that are now deleted present in these writings were about corpses, Muppets, and green M&Ms. Again though, I have been unable to find any definitive evidence to corroborate this, since even the site created to archive all of the TV board's discoveries has vanished from the internet. That being said, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Doug Walker himself included two jokes similar to this very thing within a single Nostalgia Critic video.
What does that mean?
Before he could have possibly known about what Lewis was up to.
Are you masturbating again? Mom! Just stop doing it to the pictures of the green M&M! It's a
That's right!
Go away, Mom!
I should have known not to upset someone as powerful and handsome as you.
Oh, Linkara, are you saying that I'm so physically attractive that I'm turning you gay right now?
Yes. Yes, I am.
For his part, Lewis has only addressed this subject briefly. When the discovery was first made, he frantically went through his old posts and deleted as much as he could before screenshots were taken. The only thing he actually had to say on the matter was a reply to someone on Twitter asking about it. Actually, you know what? Old porn sites. There, done. Move on with our lives. This post was soon deleted, but detractors treated it as confirmation of every single rumor that was flying around. While this is essentially where the story ends, it's still one of the most frequent things cited when people want to make fun of Linkara. Even people who don't want to mock others based on their sexual fantasies have to admit that it's odd how frequently Lewis has criticized the works of other people for including the slightest hints of sexuality while he was hiding something as hardcore as this in his past. This seems like a good spot for a palate cleanser. So let's take a look at some more Linkara lore. We've briefly discussed a couple of the recurring villains on top of the fourth wall, but we have yet to mention the comic book reviewer's ultimate enemy, Mecha-Kara.
Wait a minute. You're not Linkara.
Oh, but I am Linkara.
Damn.
3 minutes
More
remaining.
or less.
We're halfway to winning this
Bro.
thing. Nice job.
As the name implies, Mecha-Kara is an evil robot version of Linkara. That's a strong oversimplification though. He's actually a version of his robot friend Poyo from an alternate universe where... Actually, I'll let him explain it.
The hell did you come from anyway? You'll recall that nearly a year ago, your Dr. Encino experimented with hypertime when he unleashed a comet called Warrior. His experiments brought my universe into contact with Linkara's. Let me
Fuck
guess,
me, dude.
robot apocalypse. Oh yes, artificial intelligence brought about a race of machines that were enslaved by man. So, the Matrix then.
Mecha-Kara went on to become the most enduring villain of Atop the Fourth Wall. He got so big, in fact, that he even appeared outside of the show. In case you're unaware, back in the day, Channel Awesome used to have a
Fuck me.
tradition
Okay,
of it's
it's funny. We're good.
films
Goddamn.
featuring the site's entire cast of contributors, or at least as many that they could squeeze in. For their final movie, 2012's To Boldly Flee, Mecha-Kara was used as one of the main antagonists.
Nostalgic, Linkara, you know, there's a meeting downstairs and... I'm gonna give you 2 a month.
That particular clip caused a bit of controversy behind the scenes. As it was later discovered, in the original script Doug Walker had written, the joke being made was far more explicit. Film brain. Nostalgia chick? Linkara? There's a meeting downstairs. Loud suggestive thuds beating through the walls. Power drill noises and squeaks ensue, punctuated by chick squeals and moans. Chick off screen. No. Oh. Ugh. Oh. No. Don't put it there.
What the
Ugh.
fuck?
Mecha-Kara off screen. Do not resist. Submit. Submit. An embarrassed shock overcomes Film Brain's face. Film Brain. I'll just give you 2 a moment. He walked away with a shocked face. Chick off screen. Oh my god, you're hard as metal. Given what was implied with this dialogue, none of the actors felt comfortable performing the scene as written. The script was changed after some debates, but it's arguable how much tamer the joke in the final movie actually is compared to the original draft. These behind-the-scenes stories didn't become public until several years later, but we'll discuss that in a bit. After To Boldly Flee, it seemed as though the era of massive crossover films featuring all the internet's favorite critics was at an end. But Linkara decided he wasn't finished just yet. In 2014, he created an Indiegogo campaign for Atop the Fourth Wall of the movie. This was intended not just as a feature-length addition to the lore of his own show, but also a continuation of the story from the other Channel Awesome films. While he initially asked for $40,000, he ended up raising nearly $64K by the conclusion of the campaign. The movie, which released the following year, is about Linkara becoming disillusioned with his life reviewing bad comics while dealing with trauma of constantly battling evil deities. Meanwhile, the government tasks him and his friends with rescuing a group of stranded astronauts by using his spaceship, Comicron 1. I know I hadn't mentioned the fact that Linkara had a spaceship previously, but at this point are you really surprised? For the other Channel Awesome films, even though they did occasionally tackle serious topics, their primary objective was to be comedies. Lewis's movie took the opposite approach. There were jokes, but it was clear he wanted to tell a serious sci-fi story and have his characters go on mature emotional journeys.
Okay.
He almost really
Enemy is scoring in
died.
2 zones.
And I'm
We're taking
not okay with that.
No one
We're
is.
taking A.
Not really, anyway. No one truly wants to die. I think that people just want that pain or that fear or whatever it is. Just stop.
Even the 90s kid, a character created purely as a joke about Lewis's hatred of the comics from that decade, got a heartfelt, emotional moment.
But it just makes it seem like there's no depth to you. You feel like a one-off joke. And if there is more to you, then why don't you show it?
Why should I?
What do you mean?
There's no point acting like everybody else. It wouldn't be me. I have a lot more fun this way. Sure, it can be a bit annoying, but you'll notice that Linkara keeps me around regardless. It's because him and Harvey and everyone else, they're my family.
It's soon revealed that the true mastermind behind the astronauts' disappearance was Mecha-Kara. The conflict ends with a true epic fight to the finish, complete with a rare Linkara F-bomb.
I shall paint these walls with your bond.
Yeah,
We're taking
you too.
Bro, get my ass whooped over here, man.
Atop the Fourth Wall, the movie, has gone down as perhaps the most widely mocked production Lovehog has ever released. And while the writing plays a large part in that, it's also impossible to ignore the production design. Most of the film takes place either in his house, the Comicron 1 set that he had already been using for videos, or an empty warehouse. The special effects are mostly on the same level as what was seen in the average Atop the Fourth Wall episode as well. Mecha-Kara's final form should speak for itself. This led many people to wonder, why did this movie cost $64,000? And if it did, where did all the money go? Well, in order to try and answer at least part of that question, we're going to have to talk about hashtag #ChangeTheChannel. In 2018, many Channel Awesome contributors, including Linkara, announced that they had decided to part ways with the site. This was accompanied by a massive Google Doc titled Not So Awesome, in which these online critics voiced all of their grievances with their former employer. The claims made in this document vary wildly in severity, so we'll just be focusing on what Lovehog had to say. According to him, the studio he had booked to shoot his movie charged $1,000 per day. Since he calculated they would need 10 days to complete the shoots, Lewis quickly realized that he would be spending a sixth of his budget purely on the location. While considering potential other options, he asked the higher-ups at Channel Awesome if he could use their studio space instead. This request was denied though, since they were concerned that it would interfere with filming Nostalgia Critic episodes, and they would need to have someone on set supervising the Atop the Fourth Wall crew. Lovehog described this reasoning as ridiculous and insulting, wondering why they couldn't simply film less intensive Nostalgia Critic episodes while he used the space. While there were so many people who took his side, detractors accused Lewis's complaints of being some of the pettiest of the entire not-so-awesome document. But this was far from the worst bit of controversy Linkara found himself in during the Change the Channel drama. As the feud continued swirling, Brad Jones, aka Cinema Snob, claimed to have been the victim of a swatting. Brad had been a fixture on Channel Awesome for a very long time, even acting in Atop the Fourth Wall, the movie, and was one of the few people to stay with the site after the mass exodus. Many of the creators behind the not-so-awesome document attempted to deny or downplay Brad's story. Among these people was Lewis, who stated on Tumblr that the alleged swatting was actually nothing more than a wellness check. He later took this a step further, taking a backhanded swing at Brad at the beginning of his review of Spider-Man 6 Past in 2020.
So let's dig into... Hang on.
Watch out. Enemy is going for a capture.
Uh-huh.
Enemy is scoring in 1 zone.
Oh.
Your teammate is going for a capture.
He said that, huh?
Wow, made that crap up too, huh? Okay. Yeah, screw him.
In a lot of ways, the Change the Channel movement brought renewed
Bruh.
attention to many of these internet personalities, whose time in the spotlight had long since faded, and this would inevitably lead to more ridicule. Enter the comedy gaming channel Oni Plays.
Oni Plays!
What's that, dude? I have to say I loved Linkara, right? I was watching various places and I saw Linkara, the great Linkara. He did Atop the Fourth Wall. He talked about the kind of famous Power Rangers Red, right? He said it'll be out when it's out. And we like that. It'll be out when it's out.
Over the years, Linkara has been a consistent source of laughter for the Oni Plays boys. While Chris O'Neill, the channel's founder, insists that his appreciation for Lovehog's work is genuine,
Why?
it seems as
Why
though
that
the
picture?
love does not go both ways. During a live stream in 2021, Lewis was asked what he thought about the jokes being made at his expense.
Because I have zero desire to ever think about or talk about Oni Plays.
I don't even know what that is.
They are a YouTuber who is the one who constantly mocks me, makes fun of me, and apparently they do an impression of me that everyone loves. That everyone has to point out, wow, his impression of you is so accurate.
What is so implausible about
Bro.
credit card?
This only led to further derision from the Only Plays fan base, who accused Lewis of being unable to laugh at himself and taking these lighthearted jabs far too seriously. Something worth noting is that another one of O'Neill's favorite internet figures to make jokes about is the Nostalgia Critic.
Write a Nostalgia Critic episode. Where he reviews what? Where he reviews
The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Yeah, there you go.
The other problem is that the film is very one-sided.
One-sided? Unlike Lovehog, though, Walker decided to embrace it rather than fight it.
How hypocritical would it be if I'm like, look at this person who doesn't appreciate my art when I literally make a living mocking people's art? Like, how hypocritical would that be? But on top of that, it's just funny.
After the Change the Channel controversy, a large portion of the internet turned against Doug and sided with people like Lewis. But now that they have seen how each of them responded to jokes being made at their expense, things have begun to turn in the opposite direction. Linkara is more of a punchline than ever before, whereas Nostalgia Critic is viewed in higher regard than he has been in years. Doug was even given the opportunity to cameo in the incredibly successful cartoon Smiling Friends, co-created by Only Plays member Zach Hadel. But these were far from the only people poking fun at Linkara. In 2021, upon claiming that the property was technically in public domain, a publisher called Dark Gift Comics launched an Indiegogo campaign for the reboot of Lightbreaker. Even more interesting than that was the person they announced would be writing it. The Great Iron Liz. What needs to be understood is that, in the years following their split, Lewis and Liz continued to drift apart further and further. She was a supporter of online movements like Gamergate and later Comicsgate, both of which he was staunchly opposed to. When he was informed on Twitter about what his ex was doing with his old characters, Lewis had this to say in response. Well, if it's the ex I'm thinking of, she was already a piece of shit. So that's not surprising. She is, or at least was, a massive Trump supporter, badmouthed my then-girlfriend, now wife, and associates with terrible people. No, we are not on good terms. Sadly, that seems to be the end of things for the former couple. Lewis has declined to comment further, and Liz has encouraged her fans to simply leave him alone. As for the Lightbringer reboot itself, the campaign was successful enough to get a second volume, although its impact doesn't seem to have spread beyond its original Indiegogo supporters. These days, Linkara continues doing pretty much what he has always done. Sitting on the same couch, wearing the same fedora, and reviewing comics using the same format. His view counts are far from spectacular, but the fact that his core audience has stuck with him all these years and continued to support him on Patreon means he's probably making enough money to justify atop the fourth wall's continued existence. Whether or not you think the criticism towards him is justified, or if you think all the jokes being made at his expense are just bullying, it's difficult to deny that there is something comforting about the fact that Linkara's show has barely changed in almost 2 decades. Call him a relic of a bygone era if you want, but there's something feeling nostalgic about going to the Atop the Fourth Wall YouTube channel and seeing that Lewis is still there doing what he does. Love him or hate him, he's consistent. Just don't ask him when the next History of Power Rangers episode is coming.
Your teammate is attempting a capture.
Alright.
Opponent is taking B.
We will find another video to make.
Opponent is taking B. Teammate is attempting a capture. We pulled into the lead. Watch out, enemy is going for a capture.
Okay, let's see. I think I have a couple other ones. Got a this is old kind of, but it's yeah.
Your opponent is going for a capture. Your teammate is
We'll watch let's watch some Cyrax content. This is a little bit old too, but it's always good to watch some Cyrax content, even old content. Okay. What is this intro?
Opponent is going for a capture. Enemy is scoring in 2 zones.
I don't know why I didn't throw down my howling thing.
Teammate is going for a capture. Help them out.
Starring music quiz, Marty.
We're scoring in 2 zones. Opponent is taking B. Watch out, enemy is going for a capture. Enemy is scoring in 2 zones.
God damn. Is this Akron, Ohio? Like I'm obviously I think that's what it's supposed to be. Akron looks like kind of a shithole.
We're taking B. Opponent is taking A.
Fuck even just happened.
Your teammate is going for a capture.
Jesus
Might need an
Christ.
assist.
It's been over a year since the last Cyrax anthology episode. This series was created to fixate on peculiar moments throughout Chance's time online. Based upon recent developments over the past months, I thought now would be a good time to revisit the series and peel back the layers and try to understand Cyrax's and Marty's relationship. Almost a decade in the making, Marty helped popularize the Goblin of Akron and will be remembered for the countless hilarious hijinks and antics that took place on and offline. While this video will primarily focus on recent developments, I think it's important to give some context of my personal favorite moments between the two. It might not cover your favorite story or some of the most impactful moments in the Raxverse, but it will shine light on the deteriorating psyche and paranoia that Cyrax inhibits today. Let's start off a little lighthearted, maybe a love ballad to express Marty's unwavering support and affection of Chance.
Oh my god! There we go! Alright, hold on, I'll be right back.
I don't care if we are the norm. Cyrax, I believe in you. Wanna be in you. You are my man. I love that you were influenced by Japan. Wanna kiss you on the head.
The odd relationship with these two stem from different perspectives. Marty has said in the past that he really started to go hard on Chance once he asked for nudes of Marty's deceased girlfriend. Chance believes Marty wanted to be in a relationship with him, and his constant rejections led to Marty seeking revenge, obvious projection on his part. The difficulty of this relationship led to hours of freakouts and screaming matches between the two. Usually when Chance felt like he was backed into the corner, he'd whip his pecker out and try to get Marty's channel banned.
Yeah.
Trying to get Marty shut down. That's the only way I can. No, I'm trying to get him. Stop. No, we're talking about. It's the only way to get him. Stop's coming at you. I'm not stopping. Yeah, you are.
Yeah. I love that part so fucking much, dude. I've seen this clip a couple times. Just if the cops come, I'm not saving you. Long pause. Yeah, you are. Like, he actually expects her to save him from the cops. Like, yeah, you are. You're gonna protect me. What are you talking about? He's a fucking 30-year-old man. Like, what?
Yes, Mom, you are. Well, you know what? I'm trying to get Marty shut down so he can't get in the way.
The rapid decay of a once bustling friendship deteriorated quickly, most obviously displayed by Chance's rapid disintegration. Scab-infested head, bug bites covering his body, and a lack of oral hygiene that left everyone feeling ill.
That doesn't give me the right boy.
Please wipe your beard. You can't look at you.
I don't care what that boy did.
Cyrax began feeling like everyone was out to get him. Arguably, the true jumping off point of depravity began with Chance's belief that a hitman was hired by Marty to take him out. To this day, with no evidence, Chance still believes that he was in serious danger.
Oh my
and
God.
wants to send Marty and the other goons to jail.
I know exactly what you're about. You want to try to have me locked.
All right, so hold on, because this is big. You got to see this in full screen. You got to pay attention to the bed over here.
To jail.
I know exactly what you're about. You want to try to have me locked away in an insane asylum, all because you can't have me. That had I been laying there last night, had I been laying there when that.
So okay, hold on. I don't know if they're gonna show it. This looks like the aftermath. I thought, why would you not show the clip?
I would not be here right now, Marty.
In the first Cyrax anthology, we went over some of Chance's familial relationships, which have deteriorated.
God damn it! Now I'm gonna okay, this is gonna bother me now because why would you not? Could you not? Maybe you couldn't find. I've seen it in the clip. Maybe it's super hard to find now. The fucking bed moves. It barely does anything. It barely moves. Like his bed covers move up, and he's confident that somebody was trying to kill him, and that that somebody shot through his window up, the angle would make no fucking sense. There's no bullet. When he called the cops. And he was like, well, if you dig, they were like, we don't see anything. And he was like, if you dig the bullet out of the mattress, you'll find a bullet. And they just refused to. They're like, we're not going to do that. And so his excuse is that if it's their fault. If they didn't refuse to do that, they'd find a bullet. So very funny arc overall.
To the point that Marty was able to get his former stepdad to come on air and air out some dirty laundry on the Wilkins, which resulted in him barking at Chance during a 2-hour-long back-and-forth argument.
You know?
You the fact that you have the balls to talk shit about your family.
What?
You ain't piece of shit for that.
You ain't my family.
You walked out. I walked out our family.
Marty was pretty talented at pulling off intricate schemes and enticing Chance to come on panel to rectify the situation, usually through dancing or singing or racing. Look no further than when a group of trolls sent a kill stick to destroy Chance's Xbox, leading to an ultimate freak
Again,
out,
very funny.
an appearance of the infamous Liquid Chris, and a redemption to dance back.
You're a great dancer. I'll give you that.
Yo, boy. Hey. Yes. So
You got another 10 minutes though.
For some reason, Chance always believed that if he just danced like a monkey, that the trolls would back off and leave his friends and family alone.
Okay. What the fuck? Nobody told him to take his shirt off. Not a single person.
What the hold up, back up, an hour 32, nah, bro. Nah, cut the goddamn music. Cut the music! 5. You lied to me, didn't you? 2. You wanted me to do those songs last night. I did them. So come on. Bring on another challenge. Bring on another song. Let's go.
Unfortunately for him, his ego continued to get in the way. Chance had a propensity to challenge trolls to, quote, show up and settle things in person. He didn't know that Marty was committed to this bit of proving that he was truly the rightful king of Akron.
Come on, Chance. You just want me to go away,
Fuck, dude,
I'll
this
go
shotgun
away.
is not for me.
How are you?
I swear I've seen people like
Marty,
charge it up and it
Chance's
fucking
friend,
rips
he invited me
ass.
over here. He definitely did. Chance invited me over here.
Why would you say it rips ass? That sounds
He
bad.
did.
The
He
fuck
did.
was that?
He did. I was hoping we could resolve things. Well, go and ask him. All right. All right, man. All right. Have a good night.
Chance would tuck tail and hide inside while his elderly parents defended him from the big bad Marty. He would proceed to go on panel and beg Marty to leave him alone and to never come back to the city again.
Marty, what is it gonna take for you to leave my family alone, huh?
Max, you said you're gonna kick my teeth.
No, leave my family alone, dude.
This ain't
You said
working.
you're gonna kick my teeth down my throat. You hydrated for the fight. You did some shadow boxing. What happened?
Marty, shut the f up. This isn't about that, bro. Shut up, Burger Boys. You don't know what's going on. So
It happened less than 24 hours ago. Of
Marty,
course it's about
listen.
that.
Marty, listen to me, man. My family's been through enough already.
You bring it all upon them with your tough guy bullshit. Why don't you just admit you're a scared little bitch?
This event didn't stop Chance. You'd think that having your biggest troll show up to your front door would leave you to reflect on your actions, but not for Cyrax. Over the next year, he kept poking the bear. Marty would return to Akron on a mission to once and for all prove he was the king. He went around his Airbnb giving drinks to the homeless and engaging with the community, more than Chance has ever in his entire life. That evening, he'd live stream from the porch, goading Chance to come face him like a man, leading to the most memorable moment in their entire career of interactions.
Come on by, Cyrax. Come on by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 3.
This is such an amazing clip.
Taking the lead.
Avenger.
Chance would run back home and call the Akron police, who obviously hate him, to show off his gruesome injuries. The police hate Cyrax so much that they didn't even bother to go question Marty about the event, leading to Marty winning once again.
Sorry about the white in your eyes.
Oh, you're fine.
Let me see your neck real quick.
Oh, I'm good. If you guys would like, I can show you where he's at if you'd like me to go with me.
You know what address he lives at?
You just want me to go with you and I can show you what house?
All right.
I know.
Do you want me to call your EMS? Get you checked out?
No, it's all good. It's just
Sure?
Yeah, it's just like, it's all good. And I already know what he's gonna do. He's gonna claim self-defense, but this guy's been stalking me for the last 7 years.
Dressed in a kid's samurai costume, Cyrax joins panel to express discontent with the lack of honor and following of the Bushido code.
Marty, why are you spreading lies about me saying that I went to jail when I did not?
How you doing, Cyrax?
I want to know why you're spreading lies about me.
Are you fucking kidding
saying
me?
that I went to jail when I didn't. You and I both know that never happened. Don't lie, Marty. You know that never happened.
Oh, come on.
Don't come on me, man.
Do you ever learn anything ever?
Because I'm gonna make
Do
damn
you
sure.
ever learn anything ever?
Because I'm gonna make sure that you go to prison
How?
for everything you've done to me. I'm gonna make sure that you go to prison for tonight
Spoiler alert, Marty never went to prison.
and all the times that you came at me, Marty. And the video
I
footage.
can't even
is up.
believe you're a real person.
And Marty, after tonight, I am not speaking to you, and I will be getting every kind of order I can against you to protect myself my family, and my friends. I'm bigger than you because at least I have honor. At least I have respect.
That's what Chance has. Honor and respect. More than anything, that's what Chance
I
has.
showed up. At least I showed that I have the balls to throw down.
Chance and Marty would go back and forth for the coming days, including Chance showing up shirtless, covered in bedbug bruises. Chance would try his usual screeching, but Marty would just repeatedly play his scream on loop, leading to a PTSD flashback for the ages.
Hey Marty, your mom's home.
The self-delusion reached a cataclysm. Even though his face was badly bruised and his reputation humiliated, Chance still believed he was the stronger one, and that showing up was more of an accomplishment than actually
winning the fight.
The scrap.
Because of the fact that I wanted to fight fair. I thought that you would fight fair, but no, you fight like a bitch.
So you went to fight fair.
You fight like a bitch. You ain't ever been in a fight. I have the proof to show that you swung first. I have to show I never had a knife. So sit your punk ass down. I'm still standing, bitch.
Your nose is broke.
No pain. Look, perfectly good, bitch.
So hopefully this gives a good synopsis of a truncated timeline of interactions between Marty and Cyrax. Which brings us to 2025, and the lead up to the untimely passing of Music Biz Marty. Chance had arguably his most notorious moment in years, where he shit himself on stream and ran to Sally to have her clean it up.
Oh, God.
Fuck no, yeah, you're not killing me like that.
For a man who audibly crapped himself on stream, he sure has a lot of confidence to come out portraying himself as a creator of net positives.
Every single one of those things I said to you over the 8 years that I've known your ass, you've earned every single insult. It's funny, you say that I'm delusional. You say that I'm a horrible person, but yet my fucking YouTube channel and every channel I make show.
Look at his room, dude. I love his room so much. Like, it's just, look at it. It's just, what the fuck even is it? I couldn't even imagine the smell.
Shows otherwise. Everything I did to rage out, your punk ass pushed me to. But yet, here I am 34 years later, trying to put good out into this world and trying to actually help people that go through the same shit that I go through. You say that I'm the delusional one, but yet, I think it's pretty clear, Marty, who the delusional one here is, and it ain't me, dude. It's you, man.
It's good to see that the 34-year-old attic dweller is still whipped by his grandma, who has to clean up diarrhea off the stairs for him.
That's what I don't get, William. How is... Peace, man.
Peace,
for some
man.
reason, Chance has consistently brought up that the trolls don't flex their racing or singing skills, as if Chance's world, those are the only parameters for success and talent. Never mind the fact that he races worse than a 2-year-old riding a little tyke down a hill, and that his music sounds more akin to the noise a pack of woolly mammoths sound like stumbling off a cliff.
I have literally released more albums than Marty can ever hope to put out. More songs than William Gloryhole can ever hope to release in his life. And you know what's funny, Marty? You say that I'm talentless, but yet not once have I ever seen you get up on a mic. This is why a lot of people consider me the Ronnie Radke of YouTube, because a lot of people hate me, but yet I prove a lot of people wrong.
Smug Rax begins to show up in full force. Essentially, the months leading up to Marty's demise, He was trying to conjure ways to get Cyrax back on panel, because it had been months since his last appearance.
Which is actually the smartest thing Cyrax could do. If Cyrax stays off panel, Marty gets nothing out. Well, now it doesn't matter, but Marty would have got nothing out of it, right? Like it wouldn't have mattered. And he wouldn't have made any money. He might even let them alone at some point if Cyrax truly just stopped paying attention to him. But of course, he's incapable.
Fortunately, we're not going to see any more panels, and we'll be stuck with Cyrax boasting his non-existent accomplishments to the void until he inevitably passes from some unknown bedbug disease.
He tells me to cam up and show what I got on my stream. I do it without failure, with your ignorance, and tell me how I'm a clown. Please, by all means, educate us. Hey guys, let's ban this guy. He's a bad guy. He made a mistake. Let's the human that made a mistake, guys.
We get to see him pick his toenails while on stream as well, and then immediately say that good friends don't let other friends become trolls.
Be a good person, not a hypocrite. Friends don't let friends become Martys, Williams, or N-word boys.
As if the disgusting depravity couldn't get any worse, Chance decides to pick his scabs with a screwdriver. Without the checks and balances that Marty would bring, we've got little Chomo over here inflicting horrors beyond our comprehension to the universe.
Over for you. Your days of screwing with me, of screwing with my friends and my family. Yeah, those days are done, dude. It's over for you, man. So, if I was you, Nick, I'd give it up, man. Alright, nice. Yeah, be safe, dude. But, like I said, Marty, I just wanted to give you a little bit of advice, because here on the 13th, you are going to be going to prison, and it's going to suck to be you. It won't suck to be me, though, because I'll be scot-free from your bitch ass and all your little friends. So, yeah, man.
On the day of Marty's funeral, Chance made a video to a fictitious judge presiding over a fictional court case that Marty and CIA Hole were to take part in. Essentially, Chance believed that a protection order against the trolls would come in place because he has PTSD from trolling and losses in the millions for his music. Chance never considered the fact that if this court case was real, he'd have to actually leave the attic to state his case. The goblin hasn't left the house in months, and at this point is building up a fear of going outside altogether.
To the judge, if you do see this, hi. My name is Chance Wilkins. I am 34 years old out of Akron, Ohio, and I am a victim of this individual, Nicholas C. Beegler. This person, because of this individual, I now live with very, very mild, but still very effective and very active PTSD. This person has cost me over, well over $1 million in earnings, in wages. This person has had several of my 1,000 subscriber channels shut down.
Chance even admits to an alleged judge that he's done criminal things to retaliate against Marty. The ingenious thoughts just roll right off of his smooth brain.
I have done some very underhanded things that are very less than legal to try and shut him down and to stop him.
While Chance is doing all of this, Marty's funeral was broadcasted for all followers to watch. His father wrote a touching piece about his career online, and the rabbi read off some touching messages from ardent followers.
You developed a large YouTube following as Music Biz Marty. I didn't agree with much of what went on there, but you made people laugh. A rare ability. He was known by a lot of names online. Music Biz, NBM, big dog, big cat, big boy, a gentle giant, a big teddy bear, the king. He was known as King of the Goblin Slayers. He was known as a legend, a Drift King hero, the King of Akron, an internet trolling genius, a maverick, the best streamer to ever do it, a content creator, an institution to those on the internet. He was a great showman, an enormous presence in any venue, an unmatched entertainer, and a friend.
As if Chance has no shame, the next day he makes a video defending himself against accusations that he was the one that took Marty out with his rhetoric. Chance believes that Marty is still alive and that he is dodging court, not that he is dead.
According to the internet, the man known as Music Biz Marty is supposedly dead. And
I mean, here's the thing. I don't blame him for maybe, you know, not believing that, to be honest. Like, it's kind of understandable. It's yeah, I don't know. I think I could get that.
I'm supposedly the one to blame. Everyone wants to say that, oh, the screenshots are doctored and da 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 da. Well, we're about to dive in. A couple weeks ago, Marty was supposed to go to court on the 13th of this month for a protection order against him. He comes up with a plan to fake his death.
God damn it, Chance. Turn your fucking Discord notifications off.
So
God.
it gets put onto me.
How do you put up with
And
that?
nobody would think twice about what's going on with him.
In a life of Monopoly, where you're in your mid-30s and have never had a job, these accusations of tax fraud against Marty begin to make sense. He truly believes that Marty owes the IRS $10 million and is ducking out to not pay that fine. Chance doesn't explain how his protection order case would have anything to do with criminal tax fraud. That's left up to our own imaginations.
Found out that Marty owes the IRS over $10 million in unpaid taxes. And I know
I
whatever
don't
they
believe
say,
that.
Oh, well, what about the video where you talked about not paying taxes? I can easily explain that one away.
I can easily explain that one.
How corrupt our government system is, how flawed it is, and what would happen if we didn't have taxes.
If you've never seen this clip, then please enjoy. Chance tried to
Oh,
explain
God.
the tax savings Marty would have if he didn't have to pay taxes. Chance doesn't understand income taxes, responsibility, hygiene, or
The last
hard day's
person I
work.
would listen to
And
about
with a
taxes.
straight face says Marty could make $7 billion a year if it weren't for paying taxes.
How much money would you say that you make in an average, like say an average day?
I think about
Like,
$5.
how much would you say you make an hour?
I'd say about 3 cents an hour, thereabouts.
3 cents an hour?
Well, yeah, it's still more than you make in your music.
And that's besides the point. Like, be real. Alright, so say about $28.25, right? $4,000.
What do you mean directional radar?
4,000.
What does that mean?
Alright, and taxes usually average out to about, what, $2? Alright, in a month, how much would you say you spend in taxes?
I'm not entirely sure. You tell me, Taxman.
That equals out to about $115,400 a month. And taxes usually are about, let's see.
I
they're
can't
usually
believe this is
about
happening.
$163 a month. So times 160. Let's. I know. Let's just do like this. All right. Yeah. Let's say 169 flat out, just to be. If you kept every single dime that you make per month, you time this number I'm about to show you. Let's go. 365.
So fucking
That's
stupid.
about your average per month right there. The larger number times 365 a year, right? Because 365 days in a year.
There are 365 days in a year.
That's how much you could be walking away with if you didn't pay taxes. That's how much you could be walking away with, dude.
That looks like it's like over $1 billion.
Exactly.
Reading directly off a Google AI response for prison time, Cyrex deduces that Marty is afraid of what could happen to him. Chance somehow seems to forget that Marty has never backed down from a challenge, and has repeatedly put Chance in his place when the time arises.
Now you're probably thinking, well, why would he fake his death?
Fuck.
Why doesn't he just go to court? Because right now, he's looking at federal prison time.
For what?
Right now, he is currently looking at up to 5 years in federal prison.
For what?
For tax evasion. And up to $250,000.
I mean, to be honest, like, here's my thing. Marty is not, like, a good person. I could believe that he did tax evasion, but...
for corporations.
So we've reached the obviously Dr. DM part of his evidence. Now I could sit here and pick apart everything wrong with these screenshots, but there's really no point. Everyone with above a room temperature IQ can see Chances getting fooled by the laziest, most simplistic rule in the book.
Goddamn, bro.
Keep the pressure on. Make sure as many people are contacting him and letting him know that I am gone. Can you believe all these assholes are falling for it? I wish they'd keep their mouths shut. Why would somebody who's trying to fake their death be posting at 6 a.m. in the fucking morning?
Chance says we're all blinded by the bigger picture, and that if you just look into the scab-infested underbelly, you'd understand everything way better.
You're not paying attention to the small little fine details. The small fine minute details tell all. Stop looking at the bigger picture, because the bigger picture is what they want you to look at.
What does that mean?
With this big grand picture of, oh, Marty's dead, when really you should be over here looking at the smaller details going, that don't seem right. That sounds odd. Something don't sound right with that.
Chance's last hope is the court case, which is definitely happening a week after his expose video.
Therefore, verdict, Marty is not dead.
Okay.
And guess what? If he don't show up to court on the 13th, guess what? The government's gonna come out and they're going to haul his ass back to where the court is, and they will be charging him with even more charges.
I don't know why I did that.
On top of what he's being charged with. Hashtag Music Biz Marty.
So in the meantime, while Cyrex waits for a posthumous response from Marty, he sets his sights on a familiar foe, Mass Troll Mafia.
All right here, people. All planned out. See, you guys are only looking at the outer edge of things.
Kate, hamming it up for the audience, points Cyrex as the true killer, and that he is being selfish with the ways that he's responded to this tragedy.
And I'm coming to you to tell you, Cyrex, that Music Biz Marty is in fact dead. It's real. He's gone. So
what the
we
fuck?
are all with you. You don't need to be so selfish about it. And I did notice that you brought up Keemstar, and that makes me a little bit suspicious here. I'm wondering if there is some projection going on, maybe some confession through projection.
While vigorously picking at his scabs, Chance calls Kate cringy and says that trolls like her would be permanently banned if he were in charge for being way too stupid.
If you're trying to be the world's cringiest YouTuber, well, congratulations. Let me tell you right now, if I ran YouTube, I'd be yanking your ass off, and I'd be perma-banning your ass. Because you're too stupid to understand that shit.
Cyrex says he'd love to hook her up to a lie detector test on Dr. Phil to prove she's lying and to prove that he's telling the truth.
I saw your little response video, and all you're doing is going, looking away from the camera. I would love to get your ass on Dr. Phil and make you do a lie detector test. I would love that. I would love for you to take a lot of tests, cause I guarantee you, you'll fail that shit 1,000%.
He still delusionally believes that the court case will decide all. I might as well break it to you. Even with Cyrax pushing the case back a couple of days, it never actually happens, and we never hear him mention it again.
After the 13th begins Marty's, yours, Williams, and N-Word Boy's downfall.
All of this stress has really put a toll on Chance, and he declares the end of his music channel, and that he'll be focusing on gaming from here on out, which in his timeline doesn't even last a day.
That as of today, I will be focusing only on gaming. On this channel, I will be making a separate channel for my music and other stuff like that. But as of today, all music streams on this channel are going to stop, and I'm going to be strictly focusing on gaming.
Let's take a look at how gaming and racing have saved his life. It's kind of poetic how these things work themselves out.
For me, racing saved my life.
As he crashes into shit.
Don't know how I managed to barrel roll that.
Oh yeah.
But,
who knows? Who knows?
He even delusionally thinks that he can make his own record label and reclaim any and all copyrights that pertain to his online personas.
Are working on getting my stuff taken care of. We're working on getting it registered and all that fun stuff to where my music cannot be stolen ever again.
So now that his music career is over, Chance goes into overdrive, assessing that Marty is faking it and that no one is falling for it. I'm not sure how it's possible that Chance can be on the wrong side of literally every single debate, yet here we are.
Because ever since Marty faked his death, I've been getting it left and right, saying that I'm Marty, that I did this, and I did that.
Okay, so I don't know how long ago exactly it happened, but at this point, it's pretty clear that there's like, it wouldn't be in Marty's best interest to fake his death at this point, right? Like, he doesn't need to. He's losing out on so much money by not streaming at this point and by not interacting with Cyrax. Like, I don't know what plan or ploy it'd have to be the biggest master troll ever imagined. Like, the only thing I can think of that would make this like make sense to me or something is if somehow he faked his death and then like bought the house next to them or their house, like without the, like, you know, just out of nowhere, and then it's like, oh, by the way, I own your house now, Cyrax, like, and I'm back, you know, I'm not dead. But I don't know, man. I feel like everything that's happened so far would take him having a lot of money, and I'm pretty sure it's more or less confirmed that like Marty was addicted to fentanyl. Like, he's a drug addict. He's not good with money. So I don't know. All right, here we go.
I had nothing to do with Marty's death. When he's not really dead, he's alive. But Marty, I hope you're happy. We all know you ain't dead. We know you're alive. So stop faking it. Stop faking your...
I think this is like the best thing Marty could have wished for, though. Where if he is dead, Cyrax just like refuses to accept it and thinks that Marty is just like plotting against him. Like, that is the best idea, is that he is dead, but Cyrax thinks this is the master troll, thinks this is the master plan, and that he's not going to let Marty get him off guard because he's smarter than Marty.
You ain't no king. You're a false prophet, a false god.
I've been holding off talking about this saga because honestly it is just so cringe. But Cyrax believes that he has a fiance that he's known for 10 years and that has a young child named Callum. It's not important to know the minor details of what is or isn't true. We all understand
what the
that
fuck?
Chance has fallen for obvious bait.
God damn.
He's strangely enamored with the young boy.
Fucking bullshit,
even calling
dude.
him his own son, even though they've never met, and expresses his love for him.
I wouldn't have been able to get through half of this stuff without you. I really wouldn't have. Like, I'm getting choked up now just thinking about, you know, how much we've been through.
He's such an emotional guy, you know. He's just so raw and real.
Thank you for sticking by me through all of this. I can't thank you enough, sweetheart. I really can't. I want you to know that even though I may not be here physically when I'm 100+ years old, I want you to know that in spirit, my spirit will always be with you.
Anyway, this is all building the chance believing that Marty and the other goons hired a meth head to go get his fiancée hooked and to ultimately cheat on him. This sounds like a bad intro to an 80s porno, but Chance is too stupid to put these pieces together.
It just yesterday my worst nightmare came true. The one thing that I never thought would ever happen to me. My fiancée Kira was lured in and running ring.
What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
I would later find out last night that she was caught doing with this guy.
Chance once again reiterates his love to a little boy whom he has never and will never meet. Kinda makes you wonder why a known child enthusiast would be so enthusiastic to express his feelings to a little boy.
After I put my entire life, my career, on hold for you, gave you everything I had, and more, did everything I could to protect you, did everything I could to be the best dad I could to Callum, knowing that the last words I got to say to Callum were, "I love you, son, and I hope you have a good day at school. I will always love you, Callum, no matter what.
Why?
You will always be my son in my eyes."
Okay, so I'm gonna try
Weird.
and compose myself when I cover this next clip. But Chance says he was going to endure a 13-day walking trip to unite with this woman and her son, and that they would live homeless on the streets together. It would be impossible to find someone as gullible as this. The situation would probably progress like the Kansas one years ago, where he put hands on Sally when she tried to stop him from meeting up with a catfish.
I had my bag packed, ready to walk out that door and make the 13-day walk up there. You threw away somebody that would have gladly have been.
There's literally...
Now rest assured,
there is no... And this might be what he's about to say. There is no way in hell Chance was walking 13 days. There's just no... Like, this is all fake.
Chance would be willing to house Callum at his grandma's house, but there's just too much trash and bugs to accommodate him. So Cyrax opts to give the kid back to the biological father, whom Chance claims used to beat his fiancée.
What?
I love Callum like my own son, and I always will. But Kira, you have 24 hours to reach out to me on Discord and or the app Just Talk, and talk to me and explain to me why you blocked me, and I will have CPS called on you. And I will
Okay,
have
dude, this
Callum
is
taken
so
away
fucked.
from you and put in either Noah's care or your aunt's care. Because right now, my family unfortunately doesn't have the room to be able to have Callum here. As much as I would have loved that, as much as I would have loved to adopt Callum and have him as my own, as much as I would have loved that.
With drool leaking out of his mouth, he expresses his love for some fictitious catfish.
Yes, it's true. I may not have money. It's true I may not have a job. That may be true, but you know what? I was still there for you. Somebody who wanted to marry you and spend the rest of their life with you. Somebody who wanted to try to better you. Somebody who cared enough to stay around when no one else did.
In this ultra serious video, Chance makes sure to give an update about his actual lover, assuring us that Marty is still in fact alive.
Oh, and by the way, Music Biz Marty is alive. I have more Discord.
Just keep fucking with this one.
To prove it too.
Chance
Okay.
makes his third retirement in as many days and just wants peace in his own personal life.
But because of you, William, I am retiring from YouTube entirely. All I ask is that you leave me alone and my friends and family alone and whoever I'm dating with alone. That's all I ask.
He comes back the next day and has completely moved on from the situation and thanks the trolls for exposing his fiancée for the horrible person she truly is. Also, he makes the outlandish statement that Callum is essentially his son and him and the biological father are essentially at the same tier.
You wanna know why I'm glad you did why you did what you did to Kira?
Bro, I'm getting tired of this.
Because one, you're helping get Callum back to his biological father. First off, and second off, you showed me what kind of a she actually is. Because to me, Callum is just as much my son as he is yours. Because you and I both know, man to man, that I helped raise him just like you did.
He can't control himself with the ludicrous accusations. He truly believes that William is a cop, but not just any cop, an Akron PD cop. In fact, the one that arrested him a year ago. The regardation is too strong for my brain to even comprehend.
And William, you don't think I don't know that you're a cop? You don't think I don't know that you haven't been by here a few times? And that you're the police officer? You're the police officer that arrested me that night last year? Because honestly, I could have slipped out of those handcuffs at any given time. But that would have been an extra charge. But it would have been worth it. But it wasn't worth it enough for me to risk my freedom.
Chance begins to take his victory tour and even gives a slight implication that he knows Marty is dead. Unfortunately, he will not follow through with the truth and will continue to live in his delusions.
The day that Marty bled is the day that the troll community died. You said I would never know peace as long as you were breathing.
Oh, look at his teeth.
You were expecting me to get mad and go off and do this and do that and oh, I'm so angry. You know, you wanted me to be that old me. But the truth is, I'm not the old me. I'm the new and improved me.
I've never heard a more pathetic excuse for being a loser in my entire life. Marty is and will always continue to be the true Drift King.
See, people like you, Music Biz Marty, you race for ego. But you always want to focus on winning. But you never want to learn how to lose.
Cyrax has basically reverted back into his old ways. While sarcastically talking about paneling up, I think it's obvious Chance misses his lover and will never be able to cope with his loss.
Oh no, he's still alive. I've already proved it, but y'all can believe what you want, but that's for another. And I'm not saying you are dead or aren't dead, but if you are, good riddance. Good, see you later. I doubt you are, but if you are, sign on, motherfucker. Let me on panel, let me on panel, let me on panel.
Watch out, enemy is going for a capture.
How about this? How about I do like this and say, bye-bye, Marty. Bye-bye.
Chance goes back to his braggadocious ways and shouts out a known troll who makes parody songs of Chance.
You guys
Forgot I didn't have the healing thing.
Young
Problem with switching classes.
You have several other people around the world covering my music.
He can't keep Marty out of his mouth and claims that because nobody showed up to court that he is automatically the victor.
I am well known worldwide. What does Marty have?
We're taking B.
Nothing. Marty's down here on the bottom tier level. I'm all the way up on here on God mode, bro. Therefore, I win. I always win. I have always been running the show.
since day one. Unlike Marty, I am your god.
Cyrex lists off a series of famous people that he is either above or on the level of. I've never met many successful child enthusiasts that live in their grandma's attic, never graduated high school, and have never held down a real job.
I'm basically like the John Cena, the Roman Reigns of YouTube. Danny Brown would be nothing without me. I'm up there with guys like Jake Paul, Jacksepticeye, Markiplier. Just the other day, I had a few big YouTubers that you guys might not know the names of, that I know the names of, actually reach out to me on Instagram, and we chopped it up. I'm on the level of some of the most famous actors in the world, bro. I'm on Keanu.
I can't tell. There's no way he actually believes that, right? Like, I mean, like, there's just no way, right?
Reeves level out here.
Cyrex doesn't understand the difference between famous and infamous.
Yeah.
He thinks that because there are thousands of videos exposing him for talking to minors and putting his pecker out online, that he is as famous as Hollywood celebrities.
Don't believe me? Type my name in on Google. Seriously. Go
Do
in
it.
and type my name
Type
in on
his name
Google.
in.
See what pops up. There's a lot. And I mean a lot.
Chance alludes to the idea that Marty is actually walking around in some place like Cuba all along. It gets pretty sad because he keeps making these challenges, expecting Marty to come out of the woodwork and face him, but that'll just never happen again.
Can't really say the same for Marty because he's kind of possibly, maybe, don't know. I mean, I did hear rumors about him walking around somewhere though. I did hear rumors. Don't know if they're true or not, but hey, would you care to try again on hiding? Because we all know that you're not dead. Matter of fact,
He is flip-flopped. So, like, well, you're not dead. Well, you might be dead. If you are, cool, but I don't think you are. We all know you're not dead.
Marty, I'm saying this in front of everybody right now. I challenge you to a drift battle on CarX Drift Racing Online tonight.
Because no one will put him in check, his bravado reaches max level. Some troll sent him a locale trophy, which he tries in vain to break, throws it away in a poop-soaked garbage can, and declares that the king has returned.
Y'all see this right here? Y'all see this locale trophy? This is how much of a locale I'm not.
What's he doing?
Bent up. That's how much of a locale I'm not.
What the fuck? Oh, you really got him.
This is what I think about the locale community.
Look at his hair.
Trash can. The real DK is back, baby. That's what I say.
Time for show and tell, where Chansey Poo showcases the heap of trash he calls a music career.
I have the copyright for the rest of my life. I made sure I paid for it.
Okay.
Not telling you how I paid for it, but I paid for it. All my copyright stuff. You got the name, the album title, the disc. Looking very clean, I might add.
Cyrex makes an ultimatum with Wance Chilkins and tries to create a hostile takeover. He's created a label that creates movies and music videos, including an all-expense-paid trip to Florida to shoot these videos.
Wance Chilkins
Look at him.
is no longer a part of your label.
Oh my god.
But now a part of my label. Which means all those songs go back to me. Another bonus for you guys. Your boy is now the owner of not only his own label, but his own film company in which I will be releasing music videos, movies. Because here in the next 4 to 5 months, your boy's not even gonna be here in Ohio. Your boy's gonna be shooting music videos down in Florida with my brother Steve
His confidence
brother
and
Steve.
expertise quickly disintegrate as he rejects the name Cyrax and goes by Ronin. We get to see him try on some costume masks again to display just how badass he is.
Why wear a mask? Well, that's for a very important reason. Because this is who I am. The age of Cyrax is over.
Plant the firecracker. On defense, defend your base.
But the era,
Oh, that's what,
tale,
okay.
the legacy of Ronin has begun. But you know what? I'm glad to be a freak.
The psychosis has reached a boiling point. A lot of people have masked off told Chance Marty is dead and isn't coming back. Yet Cyrax continues to fall for obvious AI voice videos and text displaying fake Marty's next moves.
Hey there, dipshit. Kira and I just want to congratulate you on being played again. Roses are red, violets are blue. Chance really sucks, and so do you. It's funny, having no cares or worries just like Chance is really liberating. There are worse things than February in Cuba with a mountain of money.
Almost as if time is a flat circle, trolls send a kill stick to destroy Chance's Xbox controller again, leading to him pretending like he didn't just cry all night to Sally. His voice and teeth are objectively getting worse and worse as the days go on.
Do you think that you guys are stopping me by breaking my Xbox? No, you're not. Did you break a piece of my equipment? Like, did you actually break a piece of my equipment? Yeah.
Fuck me,
But you know what?
dude.
I'm not even mad about it, bro. And you wanna know why I'm not mad? Because you guys forced me to do gaming on PC, which is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. Was I pissed off at first? Yeah. But looking back, I'm not... I'm not pissed off now. If anything...
With no end in sight, Cyrax eggs on the next event from Marty.
We'll see what happens. We will see. Oh,
God damn it, dude.
I keep laughing at how stupid you are, Music Biz Marty and William Gloryhole. I keep laughing at how dumb you guys are. For real.
It appears the man will never learn. Losing someone important to you that helped shape your young adulthood can be tough. All Chance has left is an elderly, decaying grandmother before he's left to fend for himself on the streets. When you think that all might be lost, just remember that the king, the true king of Akron, always gets the last laugh.
Who's the king? You are? Then run away now.
We'll read that in a second here. Jesus Christ.
We're on offense this round. Our team has to plant the firecracker.
Firecracker claimed. Firecracker picked up.
Firecracker planted. Move the zone.
Double kill. New power weapon in the arena.
God damn it, dude. How are you not? Yeah. There we go. Okay. I hate that. Nice. Since the making of this video, Cyrex has been under constant arrest from the trolls. It appears the trolls have backdoored access to Chance's PC, resulting in screenshots and audio recordings from the past several months. Most notably, his Discord chat logs and internet search history has been extracted and published online. Unsurprisingly, it's filled with filth and deplorable behavior. In conjunction with the content being released, Cyrex has been DDoSed any time he has decided to go live, leading to him spearheading a change.org resolution to implement harsher laws on online trolls. His behavior has not changed, but the battleground and type of adversary has. Without Marty to lead the brigade, it appears that anything may go online. Only time will tell. Tragic. Always love a good Cyrex update, even though that one's kind of old. I feel like the thing is, every Cyrex update's the same. He just does dumb shit. Why? Why did you not protect me? You were right fucking there. I hate motherfuckers, dude. I hate motherfuckers so much. All you had to do was protect me and I would have got it. If you just stopped that guy for half a second. But no.
Regroup and reset. Try something different next round.
Jesus Christ. Alright, let's see what else we got here. So this went live. Okay.
Ladies and gents, tomorrow, another big announcement about NovaCord is coming soon. And the relaunch of the Discord server is coming soon.
That's a mistake.
This time, it's 18 plus.
Sure.
So I know nothing's bad's gonna happen to it.
Okay, alright.
Anyways, yeah, that's it. I'm never making another fucking Discord server again. This is the mother...
Oh my god. What the fuck? Oh, we got AI rap. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, Smokey. I don't know fully how I feel about the AI rap or AI songs in general. I don't know if I would maybe cut back a little bit. Fuck me. Did I unlock anything with the shotgun? Just goddamn, bro. Okay. Not great.
What in God's name has been going on for the past week in the life of Nova Online? I know what's been going on in my life. It was Memorial Day weekend and I was hitting the bars with my buddies, and it's crazy to know that while I was out having a good time and probably a lot of you guys were doing the same, Nova was over here starting yet another one of his disgusting Discord servers that's only use was for him talking to minors. Again, this guy cannot stop doing this stuff. The police in his town have to be well aware of what's going on with Nova, and yet again, nothing is ever done about it. Nova this time wanted to tell people that it was an 18 plus server, but when people looked in there, he had mods as young as 15. Like, what is going on here? Why are you so, like, you're giddy to get kids in the server around you?
Don't let him get on there. Don't let him get on
What kind of mindset does a person
there.
have to be in to be a fully
Nice.
grown adult and
That's
just
a
like
win.
clamored to be around kids. It's creepy, right?
What are these
Well,
pictures?
Yeah, of course it's creepy. It's downright predatory, but I still get a lot of people in the comments who I really shouldn't pay attention to who say, man, you give this guy a bad rap. He's not that bad of a dude. Well, here he goes again.
Why would you defend him?
Here he is again, letting a bunch of minors be in a server where there's nothing but NSFW material getting thrown around. And it's not like it's just like racist stuff, which there's a lot of, but so many sexual drawings that Nova just has running freely in there. He doesn't give a shit because this is what he wants to facilitate. And the only problem he has
The song
is
in the
when people
background,
call him
dude.
out on it. And you're going to see a lot of that today because we got a whole lot to talk about with this guy. And the first thing I want to talk about is this short 5-second clip right here.
I'm not a chomo.
I don't know what Team
I've
PS
already
is.
beaten the allegations.
Forget.
Oh,
I'm not a pedophile. I've already beaten the
I was
allegations.
still under the
The fact that you even have to say that sentence, like, let's go. Let's see.
impressions clip right here.
Like, listen to it.
I'm not a chomo. I've already beaten the allegations.
I'm not a chomo. I've already beaten the allegations. I don't know how you... If you have to say that sentence, just get off the internet. You've already fucking lost.
Oh, have you? I was not aware of that. I was still under the impression that it was pretty cut and dry that you used to have a 15-year-old co-host that you tried to flirt with. There's also pictures like this you were sending to minors and singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star to them while also talking about
What
your
the
diaper
fuck?
fetish. Also, you're in a Facebook group for quote-unquote baby furs, whatever that means. Like, I'm so lost on all this stuff Nova's into, but to him, this is all normal. When he gets called out for any of this stuff, he tends to sweep it under the rug and try to act like none of it's happening, none of it happened in the past, and people who are bringing it up are just trolls who are trying to mess with him. He refuses to acknowledge what he did was wrong. Actually, he refuses to acknowledge it happened at all, and that's what's so dangerous about someone like Nova, because he'll continue to go through life trying to put on this facade that, oh yeah, I'm a completely normal guy who's just getting a bad rep from the internet. And as you'll see later, this rep he has is now stretching to his own family. Because I really shouldn't spoil anything, but I'm just gonna let you know right now, Nova is being a terrible nephew and leaked his uncle's phone number. And there's a call where Nova's talking to his mom, and he says, "Mom, Uncle Drew just messaged me, and he's calling me a pervert." And this is in all seriousness. So like his own uncle's saying this stuff to him now. This is outrageous. And so you saw the clip at the beginning of the video where Nova says it's time for him to start up another Discord. Now this is despite Nova saying in the past that he'll never open up a Discord again because of all the stuff that happened when he was in there. He never actually like specifies what was going on, but it's because each time he's had a Discord server, it's been found that there's minors in it, and Nova's just letting NSFW material run rampant. Kind of think back to the old White Bowser situation. Now, the last Discord server Nova had was back at the end of last year, at the end of 2024, and people had hacked into it and deleted it after it was found that Nova was once again having a bunch of minors in there, and he was basically using it as a place where anytime he needed to vent, or he felt like he had like a mental problem, or he felt like he was going to end it, he could message one of these.
I could not imagine being in that server and listening to Discord talk, or listening to Nova talk about suiciding. Like, there's no fucking way.
Minors, and some of these screenshots came out where he would just unload and be like, listen, these trolls are getting me.
What the fuck?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna end it. And these minors are like, yo,
what the fuck gun was that?
I don't know what to say. And he's putting
What
this
game
all
mode
on
is
them,
this?
and
What the
it's so
fuck?
weird.
Like, I know it's Fiesta, but I've never.
Talk to
What the
somebody
fuck?
who's not just a kid online. So again, I showed that clip, and in it Nova says this time the server is going to be 18 plus.
What
You hear
is
that though?
this? Is wild.
This time, because the last few times he didn't care. He even said himself he didn't mind if minors were in there. He'd just keep them in a separate channel. Well, now this time it's going to be 18 plus. And you want to guess what happened within an hour of the server being public? Right there. So basically, the rule was Nova would determine
where are
whether
these?
someone
What are
would be
these
in the
guns?
server on his own discretion. And despite saying it was 18 plus, a bunch of 17-year-olds were found.
Like, are these
in
just
there.
like fully
And then,
upgraded guns from the
later
different
on,
with
he
different
gave
skins?
a 15-year-old mod status because Nova liked the way that they sang during some weird American Idol voice chat that they were having. But we'll get to that. And you might be asking, well, how do you even know this person on screen was friends with Nova or in his server? Well, look at the profile pic. Now look at Nova's profile pic. It's the same guy. He's not only has this person in his server, he's friends with them on Discord. And look at this message too. Nova was begging people for money. He was in this server not only to have these miners around so he could talk to, but also so he could try to, like, just get donations off of them and pay his rent. But as you can imagine, Mama Chome is not happy with Nova's his lack of income, because he got kicked out of the TikTok partner program, so that means no more ad revenue. And then you might also be asking, well, wait, in the last...
But how much money could he possibly be making off of TikTok? Like, I feel like every time I see his numbers from a clip, they're not like they're nothing big. So how much, I mean, I don't know. I don't have a TikTok and I don't really run any ads on anything. So I don't know. Well, maybe it's enough, but he still needed a job. So I can't imagine that was really that big of a deal. But still, it is possibly some income that he no longer gets to have.
Week's Nova video, he was so hyped about getting his new job. Well, guess what? 3 days later, he got fired from there, again for his lack of work ethic, not cleaning up after himself, leaving his station a mess, and then he's telling people, just wasn't for me, wasn't a good fit. What is a good fit then, Nova? Because the only place you work at are food restaurants, and well, what other restaurants are there other than food restaurants? That was a stupid saying by me, but look, really, what other place are you cut out for? Because I'll agree with you on one thing, the food industry is definitely not it. I don't know if people want you like handling their food, but it's clear you gotta find some type of job, but you can't hold one down. So now you're forced to come to your Discord and basically beg people for that $900.
Not a good
but
combo.
Obviously, this is just Nova begging. The real problem with this server was the constant NSFW material being shared. I'm not going to show it here, obviously, but there was like hardcore shit being shown in here. And it's not like Nova cares at all. Again, he wants people to think it's an 18+ server only so they get off his back. He knows people on his friends list and people in the server are under 18, but that doesn't matter to him as long as other people don't know that. But of course, people did find that out when they simply looked through who was in the server, and then other mods were posting messages like this, saying that one of the other mods here is only 15. The server rules clearly state you have to be above 18, but you gave a child moderator for singing in voice chat. And Nova just ignores this. He probably banned this person for daring to question him. That's all it is to Nova. The criticism is the problem. His actions are not. And of course, when all this started coming out that Nova was running the server like this again to no one's surprise, what did you think he tried to do? Well, there's two things. The first one is, oh my god, I just want to end it. I want to end everything. My life sucks. And that was that. He tried to get sympathy by going, oh, woe is me. You know, oh, just feel bad for me. Don't pay attention to the real shit going on. And the other thing he tried to do was say that he was in a very bad car accident. Now, Nova was in a car accident, and he even provided a picture showing what his car looks like. But one thing that he made sure to say was that he thinks it's the other person's fault, when really he then went on to say that their airbags deployed, his didn't, and his car faced minimal damage. So it seems like Nova and his mom were in a car accident the other day where the other people were worse for wear, and Nova's trying to play it off as something where he's the real victim. And if you're one of these people who go, man, he was just in a car wreck, you're being too cruel to him. Well, would it surprise you to find out he was live just a few short hours later despite saying that he could not do anything today because he was too shaken up? Of course not, because he got right online, did 2 live streams, and yeah, he was all fine. But later that night was when shit really hit the fan for Nova, because this server that he cared for so much, that he only had so he could talk to more miners, got hacked and deleted right in front of his eyes while he was on a live stream. And we're gonna watch his reaction to it right now. And really, while you're watching this whole thing, just remember that, again, this is a grown man's reaction to losing a server that he solely had to hang out with children. Like, this is not a normal reaction, nor is it a normal thing to do. None of this is normal. This is just a really not normal video. But the one thing that is normal about it, at least for Nova standards, is that the video is 95% silence. Nova just sits here and stares at his screen. By the way, this video is not muted. You can hear everything that, Nova's stream, I can hear it too. This is how his live streams actually go. Remember how I've told you all in the past that he's one of the worst live streamers ever? Because he'll sit here while the chat's just moving, he won't say anything, he won't do anything, and you just gotta deal with it. That's the way he runs live streams. Sometimes you go 5 or 10 minutes without anything happening, but eventually he does start becoming audible when he realizes that, oh shit, the server really is down.
We got a Goblin Slayer on our team. We got Marty in the chat, bro.
This is your moment. Don't waste it.
Oh no, not the server!
Win the match.
The server got nuked!
We're pulling ahead. Keep it up.
The server!
They're pulling ahead. Try to stop them.
I'm not even giving you guys an edit this time. He really does just sit here in silence for these really long periods of time. But eventually, he won't just start speaking up, he'll start screaming.
What?
Eventually.
No! Fuck! 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 I want to fucking... For the fucking god! And there goes the server.
What I'm about to show you now is
Bro,
while
what
this
gun
stream was
is
going
this?
on, Jacob Sopis, the same guy who talked
It's
about
like
in
a
the past
side
who wanted
pistol?
to like bang Chris Chan, well
Such a
now he's
weird
going after
gun.
Nova, and he offered to open up another Discord server for Nova,
I just have
which
the
he has
same
since
two
done,
guns.
and
Okay.
told Nova that whenever he wants to join it, Nova's allowed to, and he will be given mod status upon arrival. That's something to keep an eye out for, because that's some creepy shit just waiting to happen.
Oh, I cannot get a gun like that.
Okay.
Not even 5 days. The server's already gone. Someone hang me a fucking...
Alright, Shone, calm down with the seppuku threats. I said earlier that 90% of this video was silence, while the other 5% is him screaming, and the other 5% is him making all these threats. I don't know what goes through his head, but he thinks if he says that enough, people will just turn and be like, man, we really feel bad for Nova. Everybody else is in the wrong. Like, just because you threaten shit like that, which you never should do, because it takes away from so many people who really go through shit like that, but you're only doing it because you got caught for owning a grooming server, and people hacked into it and took it down. In a rage, he then posted this next TikTok where he continues to just blurt out the F-bomb because it's the only thing he can do when he's mad.
I'm never making another fucking Discord server again. This is the mother... My life thing.
Dude, chill out.
Yeah, at this point, even I gotta censor the F word because Nova has greatly surpassed the quota that we have. I think it's like 7 or 8. But, like, he's so mad again. He's just, that's the only way he knows how to react. He can't go, man, I really fucked up again. It's just, F my life. It's all everyone else's fault. I'm never doing this again. But again, he's not doing it because it's his problem. He's doing it because the trolls got him. And the only logical way he should have reacted to something like this happening again is by making a TikTok going, man, the trolls are right. I really am just doing all this predatory stuff on Discord. My name is Gabriel Gage. And, he didn't. He just decided to make a karaoke video calling out the trolls and acting like he's in some, like, at some position of authority to tell you trolls, hey, why don't you get a job?
This is something you trolls need to do, and something that I am working on doing. My friend's got a girlfriend and he hates that bitch. He tells me every day.
Yeah, he only knows that song exists because last week we used it as the intro for Too High for Stupid episode 11. I've talked about this in some of my videos before, but Nova has no music taste of his own and simply steals mine. I don't get why he does this, but I can go through a laundry list of songs that we played on the show that Nova then randomly sang on karaoke or put in his videos a week later. And I'm not talking about well-known ones like this one. I'm talking about obscure ones like Blow by Ginzu. But that's not important. What's important is the fact that Nova decided, hey, who cares about all the Discord stuff? Back to fun and games, back to karaoke. Look at the smile on my face. No one gives a shit about that. Well, you see this video, it has a couple thousand likes, maybe more than a couple thousand, but not as much as like the 600,000 that he got when he was freaking out in that TikTok we watched a minute ago. I really don't think it's ever set into him that millions, and I mean that, millions of people are aware of his Discord shenanigans.
Bro, every fucking time.
He's a predator. It's not just the views on these videos I do, or the
Go-
ones Kiwi does,
Bro.
here on YouTube. Go look at his TikTok themselves. Millions upon millions of views and tons of comments saying the same. Man, this dude's a predator. Oh my god, keep him off Discord. And he thinks one karaoke video is gonna make everyone go, ah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. Who? Discord who? And that's really been that with the Discord. It got deleted and Nova's trying to act like nothing really happened. Again, of course, did anyone expect anything differently? He'll never acknowledge it. He'll always try to act like anyone who calls him out on it is the problem. And basically, all we got to listen to now is this wild, like, leaked, I don't know if it's a phone call, but Nova was live either in his Discord or on some stream, and he called his mom while he was live. And he decided to start freaking out because his Uncle Drew's phone number got leaked. And Uncle Drew decided to point the finger right at Nova. And Nova's not too happy about that, as you're about to hear.
Mom, this is urgent. Fucking urgent. Andy just texted me again. Yes. His phone number got leaked, and now he's blaming. I'm fucking shaking.
Gabriel, you had nothing to do with.
He's gonna get me to do. I'm scared.
Gabriel, I can't have you go to jail for his phone number somehow being leaked.
He just sent us word for word. Okay, you pervert. You get my phone off of TikTok.
I don't want to. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you look at that. I apologize.
So as you can hear, Nova decides to call his mom. She's probably at work, and he's just freaking out, saying, you need to handle this. Uncle Drew just called me. And he doesn't even call him Uncle Drew. He's Andy to him. Andy just called me, and yeah, he's freaking out. He's blaming at me. He wants his phone number off the internet, which shouldn't, be there in general. I mean, obviously, like most phone numbers are, but you definitely had some hand in this, Gabe. I don't know how Uncle Drew's phone number got leaked. I've seen nothing about this, but if he's texting Nova, like, if he's going out of his way to be like, dude, what are you doing? Then something really bad must have happened. And, like, obviously his uncle called him a pervert, which is just
I mean,
insane.
Yeah, if you don't know, Nova's uncle is, like, super based and hates...
Especially when you see the picture on screen.
He just does not like a lot of the activity that
Right here, which is Nova, like, I guess trying to audition for an OnlyFans thing. I don't know. He's wearing an Israeli flag around him. It's just pretty tasteless. I don't really get why he was doing this picture here, but I think Uncle Drew might have some weight to those statements. But then he just straight up told him there's gonna be an accident if you don't figure that shit out. Like, he is threatening Gabe. He is like, listen, dude, I'm not playing with you. We may
He's so tired of his ass.
be blood, but there just may be an accident if you don't figure this right out. What an interesting family dynamic. It's been known for years that Gabe doesn't like Uncle Drew. They have like a difference on political opinions, and that's enough for Gabe to basically hate this guy. Despite him being at Gabe's house every single week, and Gabe going over to his house every other week. But Gabe hates him, and Uncle Drew thinks Gabe's a pervert. So despite spending so much time together, these two have very weird feelings, and it's pretty clear right there. Obviously, if he knew it was a troll, he wouldn't be freaking out at his mom like this. I'm assuming this was the real Uncle Drew, and I can't wrap my head around it. I don't know. Look, my uncles have never texted me and gone, listen here, you pervert. You need to stop talking about that Christian online or something like that. Like, because that's not what happens. You don't leak your family's phone numbers. And I don't know how you did that, Gabe, but Jesus. All these things you've done this week is just error after mistake, and you won't own up to a goddamn thing. And then there is this, which I'm just assuming it.
I like to think that just like a scammer called him or something, like called his uncle, and just like he could tell, like he almost fell for it. And then he's just like, this must be fucking Nova's doing. This must be Gabe's fucking doing.
It's him going, man, the heat's getting too hot. All these people saw that, like TikTok I posted freaking out about the Discord. All his comments are telling him that the Discord was messed up and he was talking to kids again. So now, due to a scary situation that happened in his life, he is taking a break from TikTok. Now, I don't know what that scary situation is. I imagine it probably is Uncle Drew threatening that an accident will happen, but who knows? Who knows? But I do know one thing. He will not stay gone for long. Gabe is somebody who is obsessed with TikTok. He's obsessed with the numbers, and he's obsessed with getting that ever elusive, like that content creator identity that he thinks is there for him. He thinks people one day are going to stop looking at him as Chomo guy and look at him as awesome food reviewer content creator guy, and he'll never give that up. And so, I don't know, let me know down in the comments below. By the time this video's out, he could already be back, but I'm gonna guess 1 whole day. How long do you guys think Gabe's gonna be gone for? Maybe a week? Maybe a month? No way, right? He's gonna pull a Cyrax and come right back and be like, hey guys, that was an interesting few days. Well, here's Arby's newest sandwich. But at the end of the day, this really is some horrifying shit. This dude's able to constantly get back online, face no legal repercussions for this, and constantly put minors in danger. We've seen before what he's done with the age regression shit and his diaper play, and that's nothing that minors should be around, especially with a man who's about to turn 21 in about a week. And this isn't a one-time thing. When even 1 time is too much, well, 4 times now is way too much. And when is something going to be done about this? All I can do is make videos and call out this dude and expose him and tell you guys what's going on, but really I just hope one day he is sitting behind bars, because that's where Gabe...
Couldn't you call the cops or something though? Like, there's a little bit more you could do.
I want to thank people like Solidus Nova and Kelsey over on Twitter who got most of this information. Now, Gabe hates this when people post this stuff publicly because he tries to delete everything, and it's not going to happen anymore. People archive all of his shit, and that's the way it should be since he can't run away from it. I'll update you guys on if anything happens and when Nova returns to the internet inevitably, and I'll do that over on my Twitter at SmokeyMCC, but also expect a new Nova video next week covering a lot more of what's been going on in his life that I left out here, because this was really all I needed to talk about today, and I need to let you guys know about it. And finally, this Sunday, June 1st, is the beginning of Novine Week. Over on Kiwi's channel, we are going to be running special Too High for Stupids every single night from June 1st to June 8th. And we're going to be covering Nova amongst many other things, and I hope you guys can stop by. It's just going to be one hell of a week. If you ever wanted to see legitimate food reviews or legitimate, alcoholic mocktails, which I guess would just be a cocktail review, stop by. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a fun time. And until I see you on the next one, take care, everybody. Thank you guys for always sticking by me, and I'll make sure to always do right by you as well. It's just a damn shame that we got to deal with people like this on the internet, when really, if he was just in jail, it'd be a whole lot safer of a place. Guys like Nova, Jupiter, Cyrax. It's crazy that these dudes are still running free despite admitting and there being so much.
It is crazy. Like, Daniel Larson's the only one that got locked up, and that's because he's crazy. Like, he's actually insane. So, like, I guess they all kind of are, but like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. To be fair, I guess that's the one I would want locked up the most. Maybe Joshua Block, because he's fucking insane as well. Like, they're both like public problems, but Cyrax and Nova are just like online problems. So I guess they're just not considered as important.
Evidence to all the shit they do online, but I don't know, man. One of these days. Again, I'm out of here. Everyone stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna be it for me on this one. I think I'm gonna call it on this one. I might stream later. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for anybody that watched afterwards. Check it out in the future. I don't have a streaming schedule, but that's how it goes. All right.